our guest to take this discussion forward. BJP spokesperson Shehzad Poonawalla joining me here in our Noida studios. Congress spokesperson Adil Singh Boparai joining us. We have Tushar Gupta, senior editor Swarajya magazine. We also have Father Faustine Lobo, secretary All Karnataka United Christian Forum for Human Rights. Gentlemen, good to have all of you on the broadcast with us. Adil, let me begin with you first. Leave aside the interaction or the meeting that Rahul Gandhi had. Does the Congress endorse the comments that have been made by this pastor?
Well, good evening, Ridhima. I hope you give me 120 seconds because, as usual, the Congress party has been unfairly put into the witness box. It's important to understand what are the objectives
of the
Adil.
I started the show with you. Go ahead.
I'm extremely grateful. The objectives of the Bharat Jodo Yatra are, number one, rising in economic inequality, which encompasses price rise, which encompasses unemployment, which encompasses a host of other economic issues on which this government is not focusing on. Number two is social division or rising polarization. And number three is, of course, the authoritarian streak of the current dispensation. Now, as far as democracy is concerned, and I just don't say this as a Congress party spokesperson, democracy envisages hearing opposite points of view. In our society, there are exclusivist views, there are inclusivist views. But as a politician, as a person who's a representative of the people, you have to hear everybody out.
Okay, fair point. Example, so Adil, fair enough. Adil, I have a counter to this. Fair enough. I agree with the point that you're making, that through the walks of life, you will end up meeting different people who will have different points of views. But I'm assuming a meeting like this was pre-decided. This didn't look an impromptu meeting, somebody who met him during a protest or through a yatra on the road. This looked like a pre-planned meeting. And the comments that he has made are for all of us in the public domain. A comment that he made in the past, and this is what I asked him when I spoke to him as well. It said, we wear shoes because the filth of Bharat Mata should not contaminate us. So I'm essentially trying to understand, Mr. Rahul Gandhi could have been a slightly more sensitive, keeping in view the comments that have been made by this man in the past?
Well, now my reply was 45 seconds and your counter question is 30 seconds. Now, please hear me out. Number one, in the course of the yatra, we will meet all kinds of people. We will even interact with RSS people. Now, for us in the Congress, the RSS is an antithesis to what our constitutional morality is. But that does not mean that we don't engage with them. Another illustration, there are several of your colleagues vis-a-vis, we have very, very contrary views. We believe that they have bigoted views, but that doesn't mean that we don't interact with them. In politics and in the social spectrum, you hear different points of view. That doesn't necessarily mean that you support that point of view. This is what democracy is. And this is what the essence of the Bharat Jodo Yatra is, to bring diverse points of view, to ensure that we can live in harmony, to ensure that we can get the country together, because polarization is damning us.
Okay, Shehzad, I want to bring you in here. Polarization is damning us. This is a yatra. You will meet people from different walks of life. Why is the BJP politicizing this?
May I quote the High Court on this gentleman that they want to jodo? A reading of the petitioner's speech as a whole does not leave anyone in doubt. His target is the Hindu community. He is putting them on one side and the Christians and Muslims on the other. He is clearly pitting one group against the other. Now, if the Congress wants to have dialogue with this kind of people, well, it seems that they want to do Nafrat Jodo, Vote Bank Jodo, Tushtikaran Jodo, and certainly Bharat Todo. I don't know how this man fits in the idea of rising economic, social divisions and authoritarian streak that they want to actually highlight through this so-called yatra. And it's so confusing. Whom do I answer? Jairam Ramesh, who comes and says, "Iska to hamari yatra se kuch lena dena nahi hai," or the likes of Pawan Kheda and Adil Boparai, who come and say that this is some sort of a civilizational dialogue. That's what Mr. Pawan Kheda said, that it has enriched civilizational value today, this dialogue between Lord Buddha and Angulimal. I just have an honest question of Mr. Boparai. Who is Angulimal and who is Lord Buddha and the two of them? But having said that, let me come to a larger, more important issue. You know, I was not surprised when I saw this video in the morning and I tweeted it. Because this is what the Congress represents. Abusing Hindus, right from obstructing Ram Mandir, protesting against the Bhumi Pujan, Hindu terror, Hindutva is ISIS, Hindutva is Boko Haram.
But Shehzad, to
Ram
be fair,
ka astitva nahi hai, where is Ram existing?
We're not hearing these comments being made from the spokesperson of the Congress party. Yes, he's having an interaction. That's what I asked Adil, that was this a pre-planned meeting? But it's not a spokesperson of the Congress party. So is the politics around it justified?
No, you mean Rahul Gandhi is not a spokesperson of the Congress Party? Are you saying that?
No. But the comments are being made by the pastor, no?
So I'll tell you, Rahul Gandhi is not an ordinary individual. He is a leader of the Congress Party, and to meet him, most Congress leaders don't get to meet him. A screening is probably done of who is going to meet him. This man was in jail. This man's other comments, let me tell you his other comments, very insightful comments. Even the devotees of your goddess are not going to vote for you. Don't forget that you have won this election begging from the throne arms of the Christian people and the Muslim people. I have gone to Christian homes and I have asked for votes. This is the kind of person who was in jail, who made these comments about Bharat Mata and about Hindus. And Rahul Gandhi takes Hidayat as a conversation, in the words of Pawan Kheda, the conversation that Buddha and Angulimal was having. I want to ask Mr. Boparai, 1 second, Mr.
Adil, I will
Boparai,
come back to you.
hold on to your horses, Mr. Boparai. Stop getting so angsty. Just have the patience to hear somebody other than the pastor.
Now let me,
but he's interrupting. Let me just have a last word on this. The last word I'm trying to say is that this has become the trend of the Congress Party, that vote bank ki chahiye tali, isliye Hinduon ko do gali, and therefore they unite all these elements. Look at the other elements in there.